everyone. In this session we will see numerical on the steady state stability limit. First problem. A salient pole synchronous machine having direct axis reactance 0.7 per unit and the quadrature axis reactance 0.5 per unit per phase is operated from an infinite bus of voltage 1 per unit. If the excitation voltage is 1.1 per unit, find the steady state stability limit and the angle at which it occurs. So the given machine is a salient pole synchronous machine. We know the power equation. First of all, we should know what is the formula for the steady state stability limit. We know the condition for steady state stability limit as dP by d del is equal to 0. So what does that mean? First we should find out the power angle equation for the salient pole synchronous machine. Then if you differentiate that with respect to del and equate that equation to 0, so whatever the del value that we are going to get, that is the value where we will get the maximum power, or you can say that steady state stability limit. So first let us find out the equation for power. Mod E mod V divided by xt into sin del plus mod V square into xt minus xq divided by xt xq 2xt xq into sin 2 del. This is the equation for power under salient pole condition. Now in this equation we should check which are the values that we know and which values we don't know. Let us see the given data. So they have given the excitation voltage, that means we know mod E is equal to 1.1 per unit, and infinite bus voltage has given mod V is equal to 1 per unit, and they have given the xt value and xq value. So if you look at this equation, E we know, V we know, xt value, V square, xt, xq value, all we know except this del value. So let us simplify the equation. P is equal to mod E is 1.1 and mod V is 1 divided by xt value is given as 0.7 into sin del plus mod V square 1 square into xt minus xq 0.7 minus 0.5 divided by 2 times of xt is 0.7 into 0.5 sin 2 del. This will give us 1.57 sin del plus 0.2857 into sin 2 del. Now the steady state stability limit, the condition for steady state stability limit is, let us differentiate this power equation with the del and equate that value to 0. So by differentiating this equation, dP by d del is equal to 1.57 sin del will become cos del plus 0.2857 into sin 2 del value is cos 2 del. Again if you differentiate this 2 del, you will get 2. This will be equal to 1.57 cos del plus 0.2857 into 2 will be equal to 0.5714 cos 2 del. So this is equal to 0. This is cos del and this is cos 2 del. So we cannot proceed for any further simplification in this form. So let us rewrite this as we have 1.57 cos del plus 0.5714 cos 2 del. I am going to write it as a 2 cos square del minus 1. So now this will give us, that is equal to 0, 1.57 cos del plus 0.5714 into 2, that will be 1.1428 cos square del minus 0.5714. So by arranging this equation, we will get 1.1428 cos square del plus 1.57 cos del minus 0.5714 equal to 0. Let cos del is equal to x. So now this equation will become 1.1428 x square plus 1.57 into x minus 0.5714 equal to 0. So now it has resulted into the quadratic equation. So now we can find out the x value. Therefore, x value is equal to minus b minus 1.57 plus or minus square root of b square 1.57 whole square minus 4ac 1.1428 into minus 0.5714 divided by 2a. So if you simplify this, we will get 0.2743. We know the x value is nothing but cos del. Therefore, this value is nothing but cos del. So, cos del is equal to 0.2743, where del value is equal to cos inverse of 0.2743, which will be equal to 74 degrees. So, at del is equal to 74 degrees, we are going to get the P max. So, if you substitute this value in the power equation, then we will get the steady state stability limit of the system. So, therefore, steady state stability limit. So, P max value is equal to 1.57 into sin del, that is sin 74 degrees plus 0.2857 times of sin 2 del, 2 times of 74 degrees. So this will be equal to 1.51 plus 0.15, that is equal to 1.66 per unit. Therefore, the steady state stability limit of the synchronous machine is 1.66, which will occur at an angle of 74 degrees. This is how you should find out if they ask the steady state stability limit of the synchronous machine. Let us see the second problem. A salient pole synchronous machine is having direct axis reactance 0.6 per unit and the quadrature axis 0.4 per unit. If the machine is operating at the normal voltage and the full load at power factor of 0.8 lagging, to what value will the normal voltage rise if the load is disconnected? Neglect the armature resistance. Here we need to find out the excitation voltage. Operating normal voltage means rated voltage. They have given the values in terms of per unit. So rated voltage in per unit quantity means that is nothing but 1 per unit. That means 1 at an angle 0 degrees per unit. Delivered at full load. That means the power also will be equal to 1 per unit. That is the indirect data which is available with us. Now, the rest of the details are xt is equal to 0.6 per unit and xq is equal to 0.4 per unit, and the power factor we know, that is cos phi is equal to 0.8 lag. Now, we need to find out the excitation voltage. Once the load is disconnected, what will be the rise in the voltage? So, to find out the excitation voltage, we should recall what are the formulas available to us. So, we know the excitation voltage E is equal to terminal voltage V plus ID into JXT drop plus IQ into JXQ drop. If you recall the other formula, that is E is equal to E dash plus JID into XT minus XQ. We have two equations like this. Among these two equations, which one we need to choose to solve this numerical? Means any equation you can go. Only the thing is you should be in a position to get these unknown quantities. So what is the equation for ID and what is the equation for IQ, whether we can able to get these values or not. So that is the first thing we need to think. And coming to the second equation, here also we have two unknowns. One is the terminal voltage, that is the internal voltage of the generator E dash, and the direct axis current ID. So now again you need to recall the equations for what is the equation for ID. That we know the ID xt value is equal to mod E minus mod V cos del. Similarly the IQ value will be equal to mod V into sin del value. So by taking those values and again substitute and simplify, or else you can take the second equation and get the E values and the ID. So whichever we feel comfortable, we can go ahead of those equations. So E dash value, we know it is very simple, that is E dash value is equal to V plus Ji into xq value, and ID value is nothing but I into sin del plus phi. Out of these two equations, we can solve this problem a bit easy if you choose the second equation. So let me write, let us take the equation. E is equal to E dash plus JID into xt minus xq. So you don't need to remember these equations. I am able to write these equations because I could remember the phasor diagram, so how the phasors are displayed, so I could recall the equations exactly. So you people also, if you practice the phasor diagram, so automatically you can write these equations. Okay. So that is why I told the phasor diagram is very important. So for your sake again I will draw here. So now let us draw the phasor diagram one more time. So this is voltage V and this is current I. The voltage will be splitted into two components. So one is V cos del and another one is V sin del. Similarly, the current will be divided into two components. One is IQ, another one is ID. So ID component is from here to here, right? So if you add, this will be this is the ID xt drop, JXT, and this will be the IQ into JXQ drop. And if you see here, from here to here, this quantity and this is I into JXQ, and this complete line from here to this will be E, and this portion is E dash, and here this area is, this is ID into JXQ drop. Right now you can see the angle between the E dash and V also del, and the angle between the E and V also del, because all E dash E all in phase with each other. How you can get the angle del means whatever angle we are getting for this terminal voltage of the generator will also be equal to the load angle del. Okay, now you can see here this equation we got, E is equal to E dash plus this portion, this value is ID into xt minus xq value J. Okay, now let us solve for this E dash. What is the value of E dash? E dash is equal to V cos del. So that is voltage V plus I into JXQ will give E dash. So E dash value is equal to V plus JI into XQ value. So we know V value and we know XQ value also, but we don't know the value of I. How to find out the I value? So we know the power equation, real power is equal to VI cos phi. From this equation you can find I is equal to P divided by V into cos phi. To find out the angle minus cos inverse of phi because it is a lagging power factor. That is equal to 1 per unit. Voltage also we have taken 1 per unit into cos phi value is given as a 0.8 at an angle minus cos inverse of 0.8, which will be equal to 1.25 at an angle minus 36.87 degrees in per unit. So now we got the current equation, then directly we can substitute in this. So E dash is equal to V value is 1 per unit plus I value is 1.25 at an angle minus 36.87. So I am substituting the current I value in this equation. So V value is 1 per unit plus the I value is 1.25 at an angle minus 36.87 into JXQ. XQ value is given as 0.4 and J value is 90 degrees. By simplifying the above equation, we will get E prime value as 1.36 at an angle 17.1 degree per unit. Therefore, del value is equal to 17.1 degree per unit. Now we have determined the E dash value and we know the del value also. So now we can find out the current ID. ID is equal to I into sin del plus phi. So we know everything. The current I value is, we are going to find out only the magnitude, that is 1.25 into sin 17.1 degree plus 36.87. So which is equal to 1.01 per unit. Therefore voltage E is equal to mod E dash, that is 1.36 plus ID value is 1.01 into XD minus XQ. XD value is given as a 0.6 minus XQ value is given as 0.4. So in which equation we are substituting? E prime plus I into XD minus XQ. So I am just taking the magnitudes. So only I haven't considered the J value here. That is 1.36 plus 1.01 into 0.2, which is equal to 1.562 per unit. So that's it. Therefore, terminal voltage will rise 1.562 per unit when the load is disconnected. If you try to remember the equations, simply we will get confused and we will do the mistakes in the numericals. So my strong recommendation is, instead of remembering the equations, first you try to understand this phasor diagram and the relations, which is the load angle, which is the phase angle, what are the relations. So however they give, we could able to solve the numericals. Thank you.